All right. Here we are, live again. It's just gone 9 p.m. here in the UK. It's Monday night. They said Wednesday night then. It's not. The week would be going way too fast. It's Wednesday already. It's Monday night. It's just gone 9 p.m. It's the first Monday of the month, which means it is time for basically an anything goes open mic act on this TV Q&A, effectively. These are the sessions where I don't plan like any kind of coaching. I don't plan any slides. It's where we just have a chat, hang out. I've got a few things that I want to talk about that I think are useful, but it's where you guys get the opportunity to ultimately just steer the show in whichever direction you want it to go in. Good evening, Gary. Great to see you here, mates. So if you've got any topics that you want to talk about tonight, fire him up. Let me know in the comments. I've got a few things, like I say, that I want to talk about tonight. Also want to do. I kind of want to. You obviously, Alex is here as well on Facebook. Great to see you, Alex. You obviously know I've launched a vlog recently called Watch Ross. Episode 2 actually came out this morning. Thank you for sharing on Twitter, Tony. I'm going to play you a little clip of episode 2 right now. I've been filming episode 3 already today. But I actually want to pay you guys back for supporting this, because I know a lot of you have already been watching it today. You've been leaving lovely comments. People have been like super supportive, because I was just like, look, I'm going to start documenting my life. I have no idea. We don't plan any of it. I have no idea what's going to happen on the days that I do document. I document 2 days a week at the moment. Going to be moving on to 3, eventually to 5. But for today, for probably till Christmas, we're going to be like 2-3 days max a week and putting 1 or 2 episodes a week out of Watch Ross. Saw it today, said Lucy. Thank you for watching, Lucy. Appreciate that. People have been really supportive though, super positive, and I hope quite entertained, and maybe, almost kind of learned something as well. You get to see behind the scenes of my acting career, my voiceover career, what I do here sat at my desk, and also just literally some of the really mundane stuff in my life, going to the gym. Today we documented a trip to the Trafford Centre where we had to go and get a shirt today, basically, sneaking around the Trafford Centre covertly with the camera, so security didn't stop us, so we could just see how much we could get away with. Thank you for sharing on Twitter, Gary. Someone called Max is here as well. Great to see you. So you get to see everything. Basically, I just pulled the curtain back on my entire life. Now, you can watch this on Facebook at facebook.com/Watch Ross. And I've also, because people have asked me to do it, I've also now put it up on YouTube as well. I don't have a custom URL on YouTube as of yet, because I don't have 100 subscribers on the YouTube channel. But this is where I want to repay you guys for supporting me. I'm going to do a bit of a competition, right? And I can't do it without you, and obviously because you're going to be helping me, I want to help you in return as well. Anybody who subscribes on YouTube, okay, and you've got to subscribe to the channel, but the only way to find it at the moment, because I don't have a pretty URL, is to basically go on YouTube, type in hashtag Watch Ross, all one word. Hashtag Watch Ross, all one word. If you go on YouTube and you hit subscribe and turn on the notifications, so every time I publish an episode, you'll then be notified via email. I want you to do that, and then just leave a comment underneath an episode, or multiple episodes if you start watching it regularly. At Christmas, at the end of this year, I'm going to pull somebody from the comments and the subscriber list on YouTube. If you've subscribed and you're in the comments anywhere, if you leave multiple comments, I guess you've got more chance of being drawn out. I'm going to draw somebody at random, and, well, I hope you're an actor. I think chances are you are. And I'm going to pay for your Spotlight for the entire year. So you're going to get your Spotlight subscription completely paid for if I pull you from the draw at random. You know what? If you're not an actor, I'm just going to give you something of the equivalent value. Spotlight's like 150 quid, I think, a year. So I'm just going to give you something of the equivalent value. So if you're not an actor and you're like, Spotlight means nothing to me, I'm a director or I'm a writer or something like that, we'll figure something out for you that means something more. But for any actors that are on there, if you subscribe to the new channel, and you'll do that by literally searching in the YouTube search, type the hashtag and then Watch Ross, I will pay for your YouTube, pay for your Spotlight if you get drawn. I'm just going to basically do a random draw. I might even do it live on one of these broadcasts, and I'll pay you Spotlight for the year, or like I say, the equivalent if you're not an actor. So that's the first thing I wanted to talk about. So that's on YouTube. Also, I want you guys to like the Facebook page as well. We'll do. Maybe I'll pay for 2 people's. I'll draw somebody who's liked the Facebook page, and somebody who. Oh, let's do that. I'll do someone who's liked the Facebook page, and somebody who is subscribed on YouTube as well. Helen's here as well. Helen Power, got the power. Great to see you. So that's the first thing I want to talk about. Does that sound like a fair deal? First of all, will you go and do that for me now, or like after this if you've got time? I do massively appreciate like your support for it. Seriously, in the fact that episodes are 30 minutes long and people are sitting there and watching them all the way. I think they're worth a watch, but I do appreciate time is valuable. Steve says it's not worth it. He's folding. I knew he would. It's impossible to please that kid. Dawn says Wendy. Thank you, Wendy. Appreciate that. So yeah, so you're subscribing to the Ross Grant channel. Don't search for Ross Grant because you'll get my personal channel. That's not what I want you to subscribe to. Search for #WatchRoss. That's the one that that channel that those videos are on is the one that I want you to subscribe to. What do we need to do, says Bobby. Basically, Bobby, go on YouTube, dead simple, type in #WatchRoss. You'll find 2 videos pop up, well, a few videos pop up, but look for the one that says episode 1 and episode 2, and you'll find those on a channel on YouTube, which is titled Ross Grant. It's got a blue picture of me. You'll know it's the right one because the channel art will say Watch Ross on it in pink. Massive, can't miss it. Subscribe to that channel and then leave a comment under the video. If you share the video, I'd love you for that as well. There we go. Somebody's very kindly posted a link there, but I don't know if people can't click links. I hope that's a link to my video, not just something random. But that's what you need to do. And then basically the more comments you leave on the videos moving forward, the more chances. 37 subscribers, that's the one. And I need to get to 100 quickly so I can actually do things on the YouTube channel that they won't let you do until you get to 100 subscribers. You can do like a lot of live stuff and things like that. But yeah, would massively appreciate that. The more comments you leave on future episodes, ultimately the more chance you've got of being drawn. So I pay your spotlight for you, or something of the equivalent value if you're not an actor. Thank you. Mary is here as well on Facebook. John Fisk is here on Facebook as well. Alex Stewart is joining Facebook, and Karen's here as well. Have I subscribed to the right one, says Helen. Helen, only you will know. I've no idea as of yet without checking, but just go, if you go on YouTube, like I say, #WatchRoss. If it's the one with the pink banner on it that says Watch Ross on it, and there's 2 videos on there at the moment. One says episode 1, it's pink, the thumbnail. One is orange, says episode 2. That's the one. You'll know you've subscribed to the right one. Thank you for that. So that was the first thing I wanted to talk about. There's a few other things on here. There's a few questions that I've been asked multiple times this week. I can cover them now, or we can cover them in a bit, but voiceover is something I keep getting asked, because you've seen a little bit behind the scenes of my voiceover career at the moment, haven't you, through the Watch Ross episodes. You'll have seen me in the studio at my voiceover agents. You'll have met Jade from my voiceover agents. You've not met Laura and Roddy yet, but you'll have heard quite a bit about them. They're my other 2 voiceover agents. The CEO of the Voiceover Gallery, my voiceover agent, actually watched episode 1 of Watch Ross and then put in the comments, "Office needs a tidy." I was like, shit. Got them into trouble because the office, it didn't look that bad though. I thought it looked pretty tidy, to be fair. But yeah, a lot of people are asking me about voiceover, home studio setups, all that kind of stuff. Is it something you want to cover? Have you got any specific questions that you guys actually want to cover tonight, or do you want me to just go over some stuff in general? People have been asking me about microphones, they've been asking me about software. A lot of questions I've kind of covered in parts in the past, but we can go a bit deeper on those tonight if you want. Or do you want to, I don't know, it's up to you really. Voiceover reels, agents, that kind of stuff. But I'm up for anything. I mean, literally, this is a Q&A for you guys. First person to ask a question, we'll just answer it, basically. Let me know if you've got anything you want to ask specifically. The agency you went to, do they actually get you work? So yeah, so the agency you saw in Watch Ross episode 1. It's called the Voiceover Gallery. It was set up by an amazing woman called Mary Lou Thistleton Smith. Incredibly posh name. Great woman. Used to be a producer at the BBC. Decided she was going to quit that, years ago, well over a decade ago. And decided that she would set up a voiceover agency. I got in touch with them years ago before I went to drama school and was like, look, my friend, who was an editor at the time, knew Mary Lou, and he said, listen, get in touch with them. They might be able to, I was doing Alan Partridge impressions at the time. He said they might be able to give you some work. Phoned up, cut a long story short. They said, listen, we're not set up yet, but come in a few weeks. You can maybe record a little demo for us. We'll see how we go. And between that time of me calling and was going to go back in, I got into drama school, and drama school wouldn't let me do anything outside work whatsoever. So I couldn't do anything but drama school. So I actually ended up phoning Mary Lou back 3 years later. Was like, Mary Lou, is that Alan Partridge here? Do you remember me? Luckily she did, but she was like, look, we're kind of like a celebrity voiceover agency, or a very established kind of voiceover agency. We can't do anything for you. So I was like, look, can I just pay you to like teach me some voiceover or something like that, or pay you to like do a reel for me. And she was like, look, I'm going to set up some workshops for people who kind of want to find out more, because she was still scouting for some talent, but she had my voice covered in terms of a general northern lad. And again, to cut a long story short, their general northern lad, who ironically was the guy who put me in touch with her, the editor, was emigrating to Canada the week that I'd gone in for a workshop. So she was like, listen, there's actually a space on the books here. If you want it, we'll give you a little test. So I got in super by fluke. Did a little test. My first job was for Comet. It was like an internal training thing. Mary Lou said, listen, they've booked 4 hours of studio time. They're going to pay for that, but they're not going to pay anything for you, because you're just a trial. So I went, okay. She said, however, if you finish it in under 4 hours, I will pay you whatever money is left over from the studio fee. And I ended up doing it in 3 hours and 15 minutes because I marked the scripts up perfectly at home, nailed it. And it was a long job as well, 3 hours and 15 minutes. And I'll never forget, I made 75 quid for 3 hours and 15 minutes. And that was back in the day when I was on £5.75 an hour at Game, the computer game shop you all know I worked at for like a decade. And I was like, oh my God, I've just been paid like 25 quid an hour. I'm like, smashing it. And then I just went all in on voiceover, completely, utterly knuckled down, recorded as much as I could at home, learned how to edit, learned how to mix, learned ultimately how to deliver a voiceover, practice. I can't tell you how much I practiced. I'd be sat on the toilet reading the bottle of shampoo off the bath, doing it in a voiceover, going down the street reading street signs as a voiceover, side of buses as voiceovers, my friends' voicemails. I recorded all my friends' voicemails as voiceovers. Got very good at it, and then was signed to the Voiceover Gallery. They've been my agent for the last 12 years, and they are absolutely incredible. I could not live the way that I live without Laura and Roddy and Jade, Mary Lou and Simone and everyone at the Voiceover Gallery. It's just an incredible place that I'm ridiculously grateful for. So it's cut a long story short, again, Gary, I've waffled, but yeah, they get me all my work. I don't get any work from basically anywhere else. It's all the Voiceover Gallery. If you can and you want to really work in voiceover at the highest levels, you need to be with a reputable agent. You can get a lot of work on your own. Karen, who's on here, is an absolute beast at getting her own work. Karen Allen on here says, how often should you get a new voice reel, Ross? I'm still using the one I did with you 2 years ago. Honestly, Karen, your voice very rarely changes. Your voice will change over like 2 decades as you get a bit older and you move into different brackets of life. I think ultimately you're going to get better at delivery, but your voice ain't going to change. If you're happy with the reads and you think, you're still at the same level and you're still delivering stuff in the same way, or you don't listen to it and cringe and go, oh, I could have delivered that a bit better. Keep your reel. It's a beautiful thing. It's very different to a show reel where you physically age and people can see you as an actor. Voice reel. Honestly, I was still getting work from my first voice reel that was like nearly 8 or 9 years old till a couple of years ago. So I was like, look, I'm going to change this up, because my agent was like, listen, Ross, you're getting loads of work, and if it's not broke, let's not try and fix it. So I had that first voiceover reel, honestly, for 7 or 8 years, and I'd created that first voiceover reel in my bedroom on my own. I didn't even pay anybody to master my voice reel. I did it at home in my bedroom. I effectively recorded the radio, and then I remade those adverts that I heard on the radio. A little bit naughty this, because you shouldn't necessarily do it, but I did it as if those adverts were my own. So like I just basically ironically I ended up taking the Subway advert off the radio, re-recording it as if it was me, and then I ended up getting the Subway advert off the back of a reel that actually wasn't me. I'd go into jobs and they go, oh, you're the Subway guy, aren't you? And I'd have to just go, Subway, eat fresh. And they just bought it. They're just like, yeah, I mean, this is going back a decade or so. But yeah, it's a little bit naughty doing that, and you should always really use brand names that aren't real unless you've done that job. I mean, now my voice reel's made up of lots of jobs that I've done for real. I've worked for some incredible brands all over the world, but you know what I mean? Sometimes you just got to think a little bit outside the box, Karen, and just push yourself a little bit. It's not breaking the law, and as long as you're not going, Subway, we're terrible, or something like that, you're not doing anybody any harm, are you? I guess it's just positive promotion for the brand. So I wasn't faking it till I make it, Bobby. I mean, effectively, I had to. I guess it was a little white lie. Faking it would be telling people I'd done the Subway advert without actually recording it to the standard that it had been done. The only reason I could get away with that is they heard the Subway advert that I'd recorded on my reel, and it was of the standard of the TV advert, so I could get away with that. So it wasn't fake. It was me just slightly elaborating on the jobs that I'd done. Faking it would have been saying, "Oh yeah, I did that advert," and then actually, not being able to back that up if they said, okay, we'll come and do some more. But yeah, there's a little white lie, I reckon. It's done me proud, her reel, says Karen. Karen, your reel was great. I remember recording your reel with you. Very, very good. And Karen, I really hope that's a typo you written there. She's put, thanks, Toss. Excellent. But then you put thanks, Ross, above it, so I'll let you off. Sophie's here. All right, Soph says, is there anything we would have heard your voiceover work on? All the time, Sophie. I mean, that's a great thing about voiceover. So, I mean, recently, God, I do all of Cost Cutters adverts. I do all of... Recently, I've been doing Nosy Safari Park, if you're up north. I'm just about to start a 6-part documentary called... I think I can tell you about it. It's about wild flights, like aeroplane flights and flights that have gone, like, really scary. You know, everybody nowadays has footage. The minute an emergency happens, people don't, like, go run away or try and get safe. They just pull the phone out and film the whole thing. People do that on aeroplanes, so when like an engine blows up, they're not like, oh my God, I'm fearing for my life. They're all with their iPhones at the window going, oh, if I'm going down, let's at least take a photograph of it. So I think there's a lot of footage about really scary flights, and I'm not a particularly like good flyer, you know, because I love control. I need to be in control. So I don't know if I'll ever get on a plane again once I've watched this, but yeah, I'm just doing that at the moment. I do a lot of kids animation as well. Just done a 56 episode series called Zach Jinx. That's going to be out, I think, on Netflix later this year. All kinds of stuff. I mean, everything from like Harry Potter computer games to, I mean, like corporate videos on. I had to do one once on receptacles that men wee into in a hospital bed if you're bedridden. The jobs are vast, far and wide, Sophie. But yeah, you'll generally hear me knocking about on some stuff, radio adverts, TV adverts. At any one time, I'm generally on Summit. What kind of things go into a good voice reel? It says Scott. So, Scott, okay, your voice reel. Everybody, get a pen and paper, and I'll tell you literally the ingredients for a good voice reel, because it's a very specific formula, this, but it works. A few people have sent me voice reels recently that have been very good, but they've been too long, and they've all consisted of the same stuff, which means it sounds like your range is very limited. And it isn't, you know, your range might only be, say the voiceover industry is like this wide. So those on the audio experience, apologies because you can't see my fingers. You will fit into like this much of it. Now, within this much of it, you need to be able to show that you can do this end and this end, okay? So you end up, and depending on the way you mix your reel, you can end up making yourself sound more dynamic by putting the pieces in the right order. So you would have like low energy, straight into high energy, straight into like a more emotional read, then straight back up into high energy, then medium energy, then a serious corporate piece or a medical piece. So you make the pieces very contrasting next to each other. It makes you sound like you've got loads more range. But ultimately, your voice reel should consist of 7 pieces. So you will have a montage reel that's about 60 to 75 seconds long. That consists of 7 pieces, and that is 3 commercial pieces, 2 corporate pieces, and 2 documentary pieces. Now, your commercial pieces are radio or TV adverts, okay? And they need to be reflective of your voice type, very much like your acting career, like your casting type. They have to be very suitable for ultimately you. Now, people go, oh, I don't know what I'd advertise. It's really simple. You will generally advertise the products that you probably use, because you are the demographic the advertiser wants to appeal to. You know, so as me, you know, I've got quite like a youthful voice. You know, all my adverts, you know, they kind of sound like upbeat, you know. Although actually, no, I mean, I do things like supermarkets that I wouldn't necessarily. I mean, I do use them though. I mean, I am that demographic, but I do quite like enthusiastic stuff. But that's a lot of the stuff that I, you know, I mean, stuff like Subway and things like that. You know, I absolutely am that demographic. I will go to Subway, but I guess, you know, many people are. What other adverts have I done recently? I've been the demographic for. I mean, Nosy Safari Park, but I guess again that's a wider demographic. Usually Jet2 holidays all the time. They're kind of like young, vibrant adverts, holidays. I don't know. I guess they're quite broad, but a lot of things will be like, you know, if you're a woman and you use a particular shampoo or you use a particular face cream or a moisturizer or something like that, the advert that's going to appeal to you is going to be, you know, voiced by someone who's like you, because they want to appeal to you as their audience, so they use somebody like you. So if you have a look at the products that you use or the services that you use, you know, and you can also go off, you know, how you sound as well, and that isn't always the age you're at. Some people have a really young voice, and they, you know, can be. I mean, my mum's got a really young voice, and she's like 65. But you wouldn't, you know, you wouldn't think that if she picked up the phone and you had a conversation with her. The hardest part is figuring out exactly what you're going to voice. So when you're doing a voice reel, it's like the hardest part is really sourcing your stuff. And this is what a lot of people want to they want to go to a one-stop shop, and these voiceover providers like, oh, we'll give you the scripts, we'll mix it for you, we'll give you all the music, all this sort of stuff. And actually what they do is a real massive disservice. They create you a reel that's the same as the reel they've created for 30 other people. You send that off to an agent, and they're like, shit, I've heard this same reel 6 times this week, because they're giving you the same pieces, mixed it in the same way. They're a conveyor belt one-stop shop, and they're just trying to make money out of you. A good voiceover reel might cost you up to £500. But that, in the voiceover industry, if you're getting agency representation and jobs from your agent, is like 2 jobs and you'll get that back. I mean, that's the minimum. It's £200 an hour minimum if you're being charged out by an agent. So you'll get that money back very, very quickly. But people don't want it. They're like, oh, well, this company will do a voiceover reel for 90 quid. Yeah, they'll do you a shit reel that's got no thought involved in it. They're not going to help you choose scripts. They're not going to tell you what you should put in it. It's going to sound like everybody else's reel. So be careful. But yeah, you need 3 adverts, 2 corporate pieces, and they will be things like, again, branded to you. You would go on someone's website, look at their About Us page, and maybe choose, like, you know, the first paragraph of an About Us page. Or you might do an instructional video for a company, like, you know, maybe you do an instructional video for a furniture manufacturer saying how you put up a wardrobe or something like that. Do you need Spotlight for voiceover work? No, not at all, Gary. Nothing to do with Spotlight at all. You can put your voiceover reel on Spotlight, but nothing to do with it at all. It's all very much negotiated. It's not even necessarily like equity rates in voiceover. They do have a rate card equity for voiceover, but it's not like a super enforceable thing in the voiceover industry. It's all down to negotiation of you and your agent. And the other thing you need is 2 documentary pieces. And again, look at the documentaries you would voice. And then you want to, you know, have a look on YouTube, see what documentaries are out there, maybe transcribe, you know, 15, 20 seconds of those documentaries and record those. And then you would mix those 7 pieces together as full reads, so like full 15 to 20 second reads, so you've got those on hand if you need them. But the reel you're going to be sending out to get you work on a regular basis is like your sizzle reel of 60 to 75 seconds that's comprised of those 7 pieces all mashed up together to give you something that sounds super dynamic. That's the thing you're going to be sending out to lots of agents to get representation, to other people if you're getting work off your own back. You're going to be putting on your Spotlight, tweeting out, host it on SoundCloud, whack it on your website, put it all over Facebook. Anything like that at all. But if you have those 7 pieces, people want to do like 7 adverts on their voice reel. I'm like, I'm bored of hearing your adverts. I don't want to hear 7 adverts. I want to hear 7 pieces in total, 3 adverts, 2 corporate pieces, 2 documentary, all mashed up together so it sounds like you've got incredible range. Forget accents. Don't bother going, oh, look, I can do Scottish and Geordie and this and that. If you want to do accents, do a completely separate accent reel. Don't do anything accented on your voice reel. It will be like the equivalent of opening up your show reel in an accent that isn't your own. I've got a piece where I'm doing a show called Cradle to Grave for the BBC on my show reel, and I'm proper Cockney in it. If I opened with that and a casting director sees that as the first scene, they're going to go, Ross is Cockney. If they're not looking for a Cockney, they're going to cut me off straight away. It's equivalent to your voiceover reel, and it also just confuses people as to what you actually are. If I'm hearing Irish, Scottish, Geordie in the first 3 reads, I'm like, who the hell is this person? So don't have that on your main reel. Have an accent or an animation reel that's got lots of silly little voices on that you can do. Some people do that in a really inventive way as well. They'll record a animation reel. I heard a great one where someone was doing a dinner party, and it was like Homer Simpson was speaking to Barack Obama. They could do incredible impressions of all these people. And then they all sung a song, It's a Wonderful World. They sung that song, I see trees of green, but in these cartoon character voices and that kind of stuff, all these silly little voices they could do. They were amazing. It's a really inventive way to do it, to go, not only can I do these impressions and these voices, and not just well-known characters like their own characters that they'd come up with, but they can sing in those voices as well. Valuable. There's an awful lot. I've had to sing a lot of times in character for kids' cartoons and stuff, which is brilliant because you don't actually have to be able to hold a tune. It's fine. Except this one time I did an animation called Bendick and the Monster, which is incredible, and the lead in that, who was playing the monster, was just phenomenal. He's actually an engineer called Rob Foster, who I work with at a company called Flix. No one knew A, he could voice, or B, he could sing, and we just needed to do this guide track, and the guy's like got such an incredible voice. Blew me away. I was like, man, you need a recording contract. I love to do an animation reel, love doing voices, says Wendy. Wendy, you should then. Definitely you should. There's a lot of animation work out there. I mean a load, particularly in Manchester at the moment. There's a lot of companies that are redubbing a lot of French and Japanese cartoons into English. Absolutely shed loads of it. So record a reel. Let's not talk about it. Let's do it if that's what people want to do. You know, let's. I'm telling you this stuff to take action on. Let's take action on it. I've done over. Wow, Karen says I've done over 200 jobs since we did a reel, but I want to access better paid jobs. How do I approach an agent? By asking for one, Karen. It's really, really simple. People overthink it all the time. Overthink it and I've got to get in a really imaginative way. No, you don't. Get on the phone. Go, listen. I got this voiceover reel done a couple of years ago. I've hustled. I've done over 200 jobs on my own. Instantly, a voiceover agent's going to go, ching, ching, wait a minute. Ears are pricking up here. This girl's done 200 jobs off her own back. She's obviously commercially viable. And you just go, listen, if I send you an MP3 now, and I would ask as explicitly as this, Karen, can you listen to it this lunchtime and just give me a yes or a no, so I'm not waiting for weeks and hanging about? Is that possible? Life will pay any price you ask of it, what you're asking for. Just ask for that. You know what? 7 out of 10 times you might get a no. 3 times someone might go, shit, this girl's got a bit of audacity to ask that. Yeah, I'll listen to it. Because you're asking for 65 seconds at the time. If you sent them a 3-minute reel, they just go piss off. 65 seconds is all you're asking for out of that sizzle reel, Karen. That's it. And all you're trying to do, you know, ultimately the goal here is to get one person to say yes. It's a piece of piss. Stop overthinking it. Get some research done of the top 5 voiceover agents in the north, top 5 in the south. Get your reel outs at all of them. If you've done 200 jobs, you deserve an agent. It's full stop, you know, because they wouldn't have made 15 to 20% of those 200 jobs. Even if they're low-paid jobs, you know, that's still some pretty significant cash, over 200 of them. So, yeah, definitely take action on that. Don't let fear stop you by going, oh, I've never done like a big job or something like that. Screw that. After a while, they're all the same, whether it's for Coca-Cola or some, I don't know, independent coffee shop down the road. Voiceover's a voiceover. Once you've done 200 of them, you should be, you know, established. Where can we hear your one, says Jamie. Jamie, if you just search for Ross Grant's voiceover, you'll probably hear my reels on my voiceover agents' websites, thevoiceovergallery.co.uk. You can go on there and probably search for my name. They'll be on there. You'll hear 3 of my reels on there and some of the jobs that I've done. Yeah, thevoiceovergallery.co.uk. Or just search Ross Grant voiceover on Google. I'm sure it'll come up. Do you have a list of agents? I don't, Karen, to be honest with you. I know a lot of the names of agents, but I don't, to be honest, it's not something. Acting agents, I know loads and loads and loads about. Voiceover agents, because I've never really needed. I've just landed on my feet, to be honest, with the first one I ever kind of started working with. I've never had to go to different agents. These guys are just incredible for me. So I would have a look at things like, you know, Voiceover Gallery for sure, Manchester Voiceover for sure. There's like Big Mouth down south, Excellent Voices. There's probably 100 in London, to be honest with you. Have a look in contacts, see if they list voiceover agents. Anybody know that? I've never really looked in Spotlight's contacts book, see if they list voiceover agents. But just get it out via email. You know, gone are the days when I had to send voiceover reels like to people to try and get work initially after I had it made on CD. I have to actually physically post CD to people. But they won't take you without a home studio. Bullshit, Fanny, I've not got a home studio. Absolutely not. That people will take you. I've written to every single one in the UK. Well, you've just been massively unlucky, or they've had a voice on your books that sounds like you. There's no space for you, and they've kind of bullshitted you off like that. So few studios or voiceover agencies require voices to have ISDN lines in their home. What people are doing now as well is they're not working over ISDN. They're working over multiple online resources to actually connect really, really solidly. Something called Source Connect people should look into. IPDTL as well. But Source Connect and IPDTL are 2 things where you can connect basically like Skype, but on a super high quality kind of connection, where you don't need an ISDN line, which was a phone line, like copper wiring, literally, that still a lot of people use, but it's fading away very, very quickly. You don't need anything special. You could do a voiceover home studio with a studio arm like this for at 90 quid, a microphone like this. I would probably get rather than the podcaster, this is called a Rode podcaster. I'll probably get a Rode NT USB, or there's other microphones that are USB as well that are still very, very good. They're about 120 quid. And then, Karen, what have you got for your studio at home? You just got like a box that you put it in and you stick your head inside of you, like one of those portable studios. Because they're good enough. It's not really about the mic, it's about the room you're in. So here, what I have to do when I'm recording demos here, because this is kind of a bit of an echoey room, is I actually have to do some processing via software to take the echo away, which isn't ideal, but it works enough for demos. It gets me a lot of jobs on demos. I wouldn't really want to record and give something, that was going to be broadcast recorded in this environment. I would have to get a room, like you get these little portable square boxes, effectively. You put the microphone in it, it's all acoustically treated, and you stick your head in whilst you're recording. That is it. If you use one of those via Source Connect, just no excuse whatsoever. So yeah, it's nothing to do with or get a blanket like I did, says Mary. Totally works. Back in the day, Mary, we used to hang blankets up everywhere to pad the noise out. It doesn't. The great thing about voiceover, it doesn't have to look flash because nobody can see you. But yeah, there are loads. Agents will not turn you down because you don't have ISDN. Just doesn't happen. Hardly anybody I know has ISDN. Few people do, but I know a lot more artists that don't than do, to be honest with you, because more people are now moving over to Source Connect and IPDTL and stuff like that. I've still got IKEA box lined with soundproof tiles and a big blanket, says Karen. Boom. And Karen, I've heard your voiceovers that you put on YouTube and you put on Facebook to show people your work. They sound great, both your delivery and the quality. So not ISDN, but just, yeah, it's absolutely fine. You don't need ISDN, like I say, because you can use Source Connect and IPDTL. You just need a relatively decent microphone. And ultimately, the most important thing is the environment that microphone is going to be sat in. I could get a $5,000 microphone, put it here now, and it'd sound shit. I could get a £50 microphone and put it in an acoustically treated booth, and it'd sound better than that $5,000 microphone in this room. Because that's why you pay so much for studio time, because you're not really paying for the mic you're using. You're paying for the environment. Yes, but I haven't got anything, and that's why they said no, apparently. Bit defeatist, that Fanny. I would just... Ed J.C. Smith is in the house. All right, Ed, it's only me watching a bit of Ed stuff. Good to see you, mate. Yeah, Fanny, I would just, I don't know if I've heard your reel. Have you sent me your reel? Drop me your email, ross@atsonthis.tv. I'll listen to it. But it's nothing to do... It's limiting beliefs, man. It's like, I've not got this equipment, not got that equipment. It's bullshit. A couple of £100, you could get the equipment that you absolutely need to... to do this. Or Karen, ask Karen. Karen's on Facebook here. Karen Allen, Allen. Karen's in the Ats on This Facebook group as well. Hook up with Karen. Get a little bit of advice off Karen on how she's gone about getting those 200 jobs in voiceover, because Karen is smashing it. And Karen, you're definitely at the point where you should have an agent. 100%. If you're doing 200 jobs, I mean, there's some serious commission to be earned from you, even if they're all corporate jobs and they're 200 quid. That's 40 grand. Your agent's going to be taking 10,000 quid of that. They'd be more than happy to represent you, I'm sure. Definitely. So ISDN, Scott, is basically a high-quality phone line, mate. That's what ISDN is. It's old school as well. It's proper old school. People used to connect to the internet via ISDN. It's copper wiring, effectively, but it gives people a quality connection. There's a high-quality phone line, effectively. So people like to use that to connect from one studio to another. So I could voice from here and it could be recorded in a studio anywhere in the world if they had ISDN as well. But people are stopping using that, and they're using these new internet-based connections, like high-quality versions of Skype. One of those is called Source Connect, and you can pay a subscription to that, or you can pay a one-off payment each time you use it. Gary, yeah, the mics. So in terms of the mics that I use at home, these are USB mics. They just plug in USB directly to your computer. If you use a Mac, it's just super simple. If you use a PC, you might have to install a couple of drivers, but on Mac, it's dead straightforward. You can get mics that require an interface between the microphone and the computer, and you basically plug the mic into a box via something called XLR, which is like a microphone analog kind of input, and then that then gets fed into your computer via FireWire or a different interface. But technology has evolved, so USB mics are really good quality. Back in the day, they used to be a pile of shit. They'd be those little desktop ones you'd buy for like a $5 from the local computer game shop, and they sounded like a phone. They sounded terrible. Now, I mean, these are super high quality, condenser mics or, super directional, like podcasting mics like this. Ross just landed a lead in a feature, and I have a short doing festivals in the moment. Well done, Brian. Action, man. Good on you. Karen uses a Rode NT USB. Awesome, Karen. That's definitely what I would use if you were going to be starting out. This podcast is great for podcasts. It's terrible for singing. If you want to do any kind of singing, someone emailed me the other day going, I want to do voiceover and singing. What mic do I get? If you want to get USB, the NT USB that Karen's got there, I've got a couple of them down here. Rode are incredible. Sponsor my website, so I get quite a lot of gear off Rode. They're awesome, but they're really, really high quality, condenser mics that are just super, super easy to use. No interface required. Karen says, I recommended it. I'd always recommend it, Karen. It's top. This is a Rode swivel arm. It's called a PSA1, I think. These are about 80 quid. And this is a little shock mount that it sits in there. Again, those on the audio experience. Apologies because you can't see this. But if you go to actonthis.tv, click on the menu in the top left-hand corner, it'll fly open, and then type into the white box NT-USB. You'll see a review that I've written on it and test samples that I've recorded as well. I downloaded Cubase trials to record some stuff, and it doesn't like my Rode NT USB. Cubase I've not used, to be honest, Wendy. I would always use Audacity, or if you've got the money and you're happy to spend a little bit of money on this because you want to really do it, buy Adobe Audition. You can get it on its own, I think for about 13 quid a month. Or you can get it part of a much bigger package Adobe do for about 45 quid a month if you want to do graphic design and all sort of video editing and stuff. But yeah, Adobe Audition, without a doubt, is my audio editing software of choice. Very, very good audio editing software that's so intuitive and just so easy to use, and comes with a lot of great built-in plugins. Plugins are little pieces of software within the software that can make your voice sound richer and deeper and brighter and all these kind of things that just make it sound even better. People say Audacity is rubbish. I'll try Adobe Audition. Audacity for me is like, I know a lot of people who record like some super successful podcasts and stuff on Audacity. It's good enough if you know how to use it. Audition every day of the week for me. I've got it on every computer I own. It's brilliant. And like I say, it will just pay back dividends if you invest in it, learn how to use it, and actually actively acquire voiceover work, through that. You should practice and practice and practice, constantly be recording, constantly putting stuff out there. I've been doing it like 13, 14 years now, and I'm still practicing all the time, still, aiming to get better and better and better. But yeah, just do it. Wendy says, still learning about this stuff. A lot of it you've just got to do. I only learned how to edit by getting it all wrong, screwing up, wrecking stuff, breaking stuff, deleting stuff. It's the only way to learn. There's no quick fix of going, right, I'm just going to pick this software up and learn it. Don't get overwhelmed by new software or anything like that. Just start, ultimately. Screw all your fear and, I can't do this, I'm not technical, or I'm not technically minded, I don't know what this means or that. I didn't have a clue. Literally did not have a clue when I first started out. And YouTube, yeah, when he says YouTube is good for learning stuff, you can learn anything you want on YouTube. Anything at all. So if you want to find out a tutorial, I've done a tutorial on how to use Audacity over on actonthis.tv as well. Again, search in the search bar by clicking on the menu in the top left-hand corner and just type Audacity into the search engine, and you'll see a tutorial, a video tutorial of me recording in Audacity. You'll also find one on GarageBand, me recording in GarageBand, a piece of free software that comes on every Mac. It's not hard, honestly. It's really, really not difficult. Wayne is here. All right, Wayne, how we doing? So that's kind of voiceover covered to a certain degree. If you've got any other questions, I'm going to be doing a lot of voiceover on the vlog. Again, subscribe. Just go to facebook.com/Watch Ross. You'll see a load of that. Bobby says, Act on This may be the closest thing to a real cave of wonders. It is. Honestly, if you just search on actonthis.tv for a keyword, you're bound to find an article, a podcast, a video interview, a live broadcast replay, something that I've done. Matty's here. It's his first day on Periscope. All right, Matty, how are you doing? Hope you're good. Yeah, have a search on there. I think maybe I need to kind of like display the information on there, maybe a little bit better. All the way from Waco, Texas, Wayne. Is excellent. Nice. Cheers for watching, Wayne. But there is so much content on actonthis.tv getting on for 500 hours, I think. Of stuff on there if you search for it. What's a common thing that new actors don't do enough of? Tony asks. For me, mate, every single thing for me in the arts industry, and any success I've ever had, mate, is absolutely down to network. And that's a really bullshit buzzword that everybody uses all the time, and it just sounds old-fashioned now and like all whatever, networking. But it really is everything. It really, really, really is everything. And I see a lot of people not asking for what they want from people who can give it them. So a lot of actors come new to the industry and they have this mentality of, who am I? Who am I to request that? Who am I to ask for this? Who am I to, get in touch with that director and, ask him for this? Or who am I to get in touch with that casting director and ask them for that? People are afraid to be vulnerable as well. I don't think people show their vulnerability enough in the acting industry. I think a lot of people try and bullshit in emails and make out that they're better and bigger than they are, rather than actually saying, this is where I really am at and I could just do with a peg up. I've absolutely been brought in for auditions at the start of my career by being so honest with casting directors when I've written to them and said, listen, I am brand new. I really believe I have what it takes, but I'm currently looking for my first line on TV. I just want one line, even if it's a word. Is there anything you can do to help me get one line on TV? Here's my show reel, rather than going, oh, I've recently been in this play and that play and I'm writing this and, oh, I'd love to be seen. You don't sound like, I don't know, you sound like you don't need that one-liner. Whereas if it's actually what you want, ask for it. Because people are just like, oh, well, they're clearly fine because they sound in their email, they just send me like they're flying and they're constantly busy and doing this, that, and the other. If you're just a bit vulnerable and just go, listen, I could really, really do with a peg up. I think I'm good enough. I just want one line. What are the chances? Do you know what? That's a really, really great turn of phrase as well. 5 little words that have always served me so well in my life. And you can have this, copy this. There's something very different when you, rather than saying, can I have, there's something psychologically different when someone says to me, what are the chances of? Because I can't answer yes or no to that. I have to give them almost like a quantitative answer to go, chances are slim. Or it almost sets the gauntlet down. I was in the Bellagio in Las Vegas. Oh my God, what happened in Las Vegas last night? Horrific. Heart goes out to anyone involved with that. I was in the Bellagio in Vegas and I wanted an upgrade in my room from one room to a Lakeview room. And it was loads of money. It was a few $100s more. I didn't want to spend any money. And I just said, rather than saying, can I have an upgrade? Which they would have just gone, no, cheeky. I said to the girl on the desk, listen, what are the chances of an upgrade to a Lakeview room? I don't really have the vulnerability. I don't really have the money to upgrade to that. But what are the chances? I'm here on my first vacation in Vegas. What are the chances of? 2 minutes later, bless her, boom, upgraded. I swear, it's different. There's something different about that than just asking straight out for something. Honestly, those 5 words, I should charge you like $3,000 for that. That can change your life, that turn of phrase. I use it all the time, but you should try that a little bit when you're out and about in everyday situations as well, from coffee shops to supermarkets to asking for discount in shops on anything, a TV you're buying or a pair of trainers. But yeah, what are the chances of? It almost challenges the person you're asking it to prove to you that they can make it happen. Yeah, mate, what are the chances of a little bit of discount off this? And they go, oh, I don't know, I'll have to ask my boss or whatever. You go, oh, come on. It's like, it's way more banterful than just saying, can I have this? Because it's going, nah. So yeah, I think a lot of actors just don't use that. I think your English accent and boyish charm might have helped, says Wendy. I don't know, Wendy. But it's something worked anyway. But yeah, I think just a lot of new actors to the industry, Tony, don't ask for enough. They don't really ask for what they want, or they're not clear on what they want. They're trying to fake it. They're afraid of showing vulnerability. They're afraid of falling and failing, or what they deem as failure in their head, as opposed to thinking, well, you know what, whatever the outcome is, I'm going to learn something. So actually I'm succeeding. I'm getting better and better all the time. Every day I'm getting better and better and stronger. I just think that probably applies across the board, to any job, any career, just life, anything at all, that people just are not asking for enough. I've asked for loads of stuff recently. I've asked for a meeting this week with one of the richest men in the world. I asked a friend to hook me up with a friend of his who was married to one of this billionaire's friends. You'll see that on the vlog, facebook.com/watchross. That's a big ask. It's a massive ask to ask a guy who I've never met, who I've known through a friend of a friend. And I just have to get on the phone to him and say, hey, you don't know me, you don't know anything about me, any chance I could have a meeting with your billionaire friend? It's a big ask. But I was like, well, you know, if I don't ask, I have nothing to lose, Tony, because I haven't got that meeting anyway. So if he says no, then I go, well, thank you, it was worth a try. Next, let's move on and focus on the next opportunity. I've asked for a documentary off the BBC. It's a big ask. I've asked for loads of stuff, and you generally get a lot of what you ask for. So keep asking people. Like, you deserve more. If you're a good person and your intention is pure and good, and you feel, I mean, you've got to have talent in some of these things as well. You can't ask for a job on a top show if you're shit. And I mean, like, you've got to be realistic about that. If you've never acted before in your life, and you ring a casting director up and go, hey, I feel I've got what it takes, but you've never done a single scene in anything or shot a show reel or been to an acting class, and that's delusional. You know, you've got to have some talent to back it up. If you feel you're ready and you've got the talent to back it up, ask for more from your life. Because otherwise, I promise you, you're going to get to 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, game over. And you go, shit, I just never asked for that. And you will. I hope you all get to 90. I want to get to 100. Alex says, Ross, can I have £1,000? No, Alex, is the answer to that. However, if you subscribe to my YouTube channel by searching for #WatchRoss on YouTube, and you subscribe to the Ross Grant channel, I might be paying your spotlight at Christmas, because I'm going to pay for somebody's spotlight. I'd like a writing commission, please. Well, that's another thing. You've got to ask the people who can give you that. I can't give you a writing commission, Gary. But there's a lot of people at the BBC Writers' Room, and a lot of people at ITV and Channel 4's schemes and all these kind of things that can give you that. You've got to be specific with who you're asking. There's no point in me asking, you know, I don't know, somebody on Benefit Street or something like that for £1 million, because they're probably not going to be in a position to give me that. You've got to pick your battles and go, actually, can this person supply me with what I want? If they can, ask for it. Can I get some help signposting? What's signposting, Fanny? What do you mean? What's that? Tell me what it is. I don't know if you're asking the right person, because I don't even know what that is. So tell me, what do you mean by signposting? I can help anyone with a Starbucks, or what the best drinks are at Starbucks. I would highly recommend a white chocolate, hot chocolate with vanilla, a couple of shots of sugar-free vanilla in it. Pointing me in the right direction. I'll point away. What direction do you want to go in? I'll point you there now. What do you want? If anyone wants pointing in the right direction, I'll do my best. Ross, what are the chances of you getting me a shot at the Voiceover Gallery? Just drop Karen, drop them an email. Laura at thevoiceovergallery.co.uk. And just say, I heard Ross on a live broadcast the other night singing your praises. Here is my voice reel. Be very, very brief, Karen. Don't regurgitate bullshit in your email. Say this: I was on a live broadcast with Ross the other night. I heard him singing your praises. I got a voice reel recorded with him 2 years ago. I've since then booked 200 jobs. What are the chances of you listening to it today and just giving me a yes or no? The end. Ask for that. You can use my name in it. Fine. Do it. That's the chances. And the chances will be good. Laura's super nice. She's like a great girl. So, yeah, you know, definitely. If you book 200 jobs, you ain't faking it, Karen. You've got a load of shit to back it up. I researched over and over where to send my improv videos, Ross, and everything including BBC wants. Everything including BBC wants scripted work only. Okay, right, so they all want scripted work. And Tony Rossi, I so apologise because I missed your comment there, mate. How do I get seen for comedy with my work? So what you do is this is dead easy, you go to twitter.com/search and you type in BBC comedy, and everybody who works in the BBC comedy department, like, I'm trying to think who's there at the moment. I think, no, Jill's not there anymore. Ben. Oh, I can't remember his second name. Is it the BBC comedy department? It's a very small department, comedy at the BBC. It's only like 5 people in there. You find everyone on Twitter who has the words BBC comedy in their profile, and you direct message them well, you can follow them, see if they follow you back, direct message them. If not, you just whack up your videos of your improvisations, your funniest ones, and you include all of them in a tweet. Maybe the same tweet. That's how I would probably do it, because then if one of them replies, the others all get notified that one's replied, and there's a bit of social pressure there for the others to reply. That's what I would do. What's the one thing you need, Ross, that someone watching might be able to help you with? I need... Do you know what? Up until this week, it would have been a videographer for the vlogs, and I've got one now. Or an editor, and I've got one now. A millionaire's wife? Could you sort me out with that, Tony? You know, Chicago, I don't mind. Let me know. Do you know what? I don't know. For me, it's definitely about expanding my team at the moment, you know, in terms of the people I build around me who work directly with me for #TeamRoss, to build what I'm doing here and act on this and my own personal brand, which I'm kind of expanding on now. That's why you're seeing the vlogs and that kind of stuff. There's method to the madness there. Do you need a singer to create an act on this theme tune? I'm probably alright for theme tunes, Fanny, to be honest, but it's an interesting one, yeah. It's not a singing website. If it was, then definitely. But yeah, in terms of the stuff for the site, you know what? There's kind of like... There's not a lot at the moment, but, you know, there will be as stuff kind of grows. I will need more editors to edit some social media stuff for me at some point. I will need more people to create kind of graphics and stuff for me and Instagram posts and that kind of stuff at some point. Definitely, if people are like up for volunteering for anything, always hit me up with what your core competencies are. But only if you're like, you know, I'm an editor and I'm really good. Hit me up anytime at ross@actonthis.tv. Or I'm really good at this, or I'm really good at that. Let me know what your core competencies are, the things that you're like, you know what, boom, I can bring value on this, and obviously I will try and bring you as much value in return as I can as well. People can always do that. At the moment, there's nothing that springs to mind that I definitely need. But Tony, I've still got your email volunteering, mate. I've kept that separately, so I do appreciate you offering to help, man. You can so fly the flag for Act on This in the States. That'd be awesome. Bring some American people to the party. We'll make this thing global. Let me PA for you. Don't know what you'd really do at the moment, Fanny, to be honest. I don't know. I could do with maybe a bookkeeper at some stage to just basically do all my accounting, but it all gets sent to me and is registered to this address, so I don't know how we'd deal with all that. I don't think there's anyone who really loves numbers and actually adding up sums. It's pretty dull. Karen says, Ross, oh yeah, so she said, yeah, so yeah, do that, Karen, about the voiceover gallery. She says, okay, definitely do that, and let us know what you say. She says, my motto is don't ask, don't get. It's so true. Just keep asking for stuff, and those who want acting agents, again, do the same. Keep asking, but again, you've got to have something of quality to back it up. You've got to be able to back up with talent the preparedness that you have to work hard, because you need talent and hard work to really get to the top. You can't just say you want to do whatever and you actually don't have the skills to deliver on your promise. I'd love to read in on anything. Sight reading skills on point. Getting into kind of production companies to read is difficult, Mary. I kind of fell into it a little bit by accident. There's no real protocol to do it. The best way to get in with a production company to read in on future projects is to book a part in one of their projects initially, and then you get in via the back door because you are like, you're already in with that production company. You've worked with them before. They've given you a real part, so they trust you, and then they'll just bring you in and go, oh, Ross, or Mary, you were in such and such a thing. Would you come in and read in for this next read through? We know you're not in it, but it'd be great to have you there because we trust you, and you'd probably enjoy it, and we'll pay you to do it. Focus on booking your first job before you start reading in for other jobs. Because you don't want to be looking at all the parts you could have had when you're at a read-through going, shit, why was I not seen for any of this? If you've got your own job first, it's a bit better, definitely. So Alex says she can get Starbucks for you. Yeah, I could do it. Do you know what I could do when I'm kind of in the middle of sorting out a new apartment, right? I would love to set up my own Starbucks concession within my house, so I'd have to go out. And I need a full-time barista. So if anyone is a fantastic black aproned barista, because in Starbucks I think you have like green aprons, and then you have coffee masters that have black aprons. They're like the real like black belts of coffee making. If anyone wants to come and work for me full time for very little in my own Starbucks concession in my house, that would be awesome. I would love that. People could do that for me. Not a problem. We've kind of gone off topic, haven't we? Here. What time are we on? Right, we've got 3 minutes till 10. We'll be wrapping up in like 3 or 4 minutes. Anyone else got? Oh, let me show you this. Have I shown you this before? Look what came in the post today. Michael Hyatt does this thing called the Full Focus Planner. Oh, you might have seen me last week. Shit, knocking on my camera. Promoting Michael Hyatt's program called Free to Focus. It was a productivity program that just highly, highly recommend. It was dear, I get it. It was like $800 or something like that. That is expensive, but he's a productivity machine, Michael Hyatt. And he started doing these things called Free to Focus journals, which are, I'm going to start writing my stuff down again, as opposed to it all being digital. Sometimes I'm going to write down things. So he's got like in here a whole system for being super productive. Got here daily big 3 things you would do. Show that on the camera there. Your daily big 3, everything for like other tasks that you've got to do that day, morning rituals, all that kind of stuff. I've had this a little while. I got it out the other day. I'm going to start using this now, which is a completely different way of me like tasking out what I've got to do for the day. But now I walk around a lot when I'm vlogging with, well, the cameraman does, with a backpack. I'm like, actually, I can take that out with me all the time because they can just stick it in a backpack. So I'm going to start using that. Might be interesting. I'm going to let you know how it goes anyway. I might completely fall apart with it and go, you know what, I'm going back to digital fully. But I thought I'd give that a go. But I like the way Michael's presented these. They come in wicked boxes. They're beautifully presented. Super, super high quality. I bet he's got a website where you can get these from. I can't remember where I got it from. But just search for Full Focus Planner online if you want to get a planner. Be a bit more productive. Anyone else for anything else? It's been a voiceover kind of session, hasn't it, this Q&A, really? How did Michael start out after leaving school? Did he have a plan? Michael Hyatt? Yeah, so Michael Hyatt went to... I don't know where he went in terms of, like, education-wise. But his plan was always kind of like businessman, and he ended up working in publishing for decades. He became the CEO of a massive publisher, book publisher. So his background is all in publishing. And then he got to the top of the tree in publishing, and then started looking at his life and going, I might be flying in terms of my career, but everything else. So his health wasn't great, and family time, and I don't know, I'm not commenting on his personal life and marriage and that kind of stuff. But I think he got to a point where he's like, look, I don't want to be doing this and working this hard, this much for the rest of my life. And he started doing a lot of consulting for people and their businesses and how to be more productive and, ultimately just how to be more fulfilled. He's a bit of like a mentor for them. And then he went, you know what, I can reach more people by turning into a virtual mentor. And he wrote a book called Platform, How to Get Noticed in a Busy World. And it was all about people building online brands and their own platforms. And that was kind of a big inspiration for me to create Acts on This, because that would be a great platform for me to bring the acting community together on, and people get to know me more. And I hope, hopefully we get more opportunities from that, which is exactly what's happened. And now he's a productivity guru. He does 5 days to your best year ever, which I'm going to be promoting again at the end of this year. And I'm going to be buying again for the 5th year on the run this year. It gets better and better every single year. It's a fantastic kind of end of year goal setting program. Would highly recommend it to everybody. I'll be telling you guys loads about that towards the end of this year. Great guy. But yeah, go to michaelhyatt.com. Michael Hyatt is spelled HYATT.com. Or you can tweet at Michael Hyatt, and you can include me. Say Michael Ross has recommended you. Top guy, super, super nice, like genuine bloke. There's so many people in personal development, bullshitters, rip-off merchants. Here I am on the beach with my laptop. 3 weeks ago I was broke in a call centre. Bullshit you were. You're hiring your beach house, you're hiring your Lamborghini, you're wearing some knockoff watch you bought off a man on a beach in Turkey for 80 quid. Bullshit. Stop ripping people off, promising them shit you haven't achieved yourself. It's the equivalent of that rant I had about actors who are shit, have never made anything of themselves, and decide they're going to set up an acting school because they're going to take everybody's money, selling them a dream that they never achieved themselves. I hate it. Him and yourself changed the course of my life last year with goal setting, and I've still got so far. Thank you, Fanny. That's amazing. Most of the stuff I've learned is off him, though. So ultimately, the ripple effect all goes back to Michael. So, I'm not going to take full credit for that. But yeah, he's a good guy. We don't do bullshit, Caroline. We definitely don't do bullshit. We've seen enough bullshit on the internet this week. Caroline DM'd me some bullshit the other day. Thank you, Brian. So, Ross, thanks a million. Always a pleasure, never a chore. Thank you for being here, Brian. And well done on the stuff you're doing right now, the film and stuff. That's awesome news. That's probably about it, guys, basically. They say genius always steal from others. Do you know what? There's only so many things in this world that can be unique before they all become a remix of stuff. And I say this all the time. You know what? If you see something that somebody's doing in their acting, you might see something Robert De Niro has done in a film, and you go, wow, the way he plays that line and that emotion and that switch that we see in his eyes with this thought and the way he looks away from the camera and this kind of stuff. If you like that, bloody rob it, because I promise you, De Niro's stolen it from somebody else anyway. There's only so many things you can do that, you know, are utterly unique. You know, everything is generally a remix of something else. If you search on YouTube for everything's a remix, there's even like documentaries done on this. You know, there's only so many chords, aren't there? So many melodies. You'll always hear references to other tunes within other songs. You're like, oh, that's familiar. Oh, yeah, because, you know, because there's only a finite number of mixes. So thank you, Brian, for that comment. Appreciate that, mate. So yeah, you know, what I think is you can't beat what you copy. I'm definitely agree with that. You can't. That's why I'm like, I'll always give people the whole book. If you want advice on voiceover and all this kind of stuff, or how to do live broadcasts or build a platform, whatever you want, give you everything, because I don't think you can beat what you copy. So if you're only going to copy me anyway, you're never going to be as good as me. But I think if you take something that was someone else's and you put your own spin on it, it's very, very different. And you can become better than them if you build on what they have done and what you liked in the first place. But yeah, I'm totally like open book, because I'm like, you know what? In a weird way, I'll give you all this because I know you ain't going to work as hard as me. You ain't going to have the dedication that I've got. You know, you're not as hungry as me. You're never going to be. And maybe that's just some kind of weird arrogance or stubbornness that I have. But that's why I'm a total open shut case. If you want me to help you with anything, I'll give you the shop. I'll give you the keys to everything. Because I know you've still got to have insane, sickening work ethic if you're going to beat what you are copying. So if I can help you with anything, though, please always let me know. Jamie says, recommend for everyone to watch the series Juice. What's that about, Jamie, before we go? Tell us what that is. I don't know what Juice is. Spelled D-E-U-C-E, like tennis, juice, or deuce, or have a... Tony, you probably say deuce, don't you, in Chicago. Deuce, man. Not that you speak like that at all. But what's Juice, Jamie? I want to know what that is before we go. I'll check it out, though, definitely. If anybody's got any recommendations for next month's book club as well, by the way, we've got 2 weeks left on Brendan Bashard's High Performance Habits that we're going to be looking at this Wednesday and next Wednesday. If you've got any recommendations for next month, do let me know. Drug dealing in the 70s, says Jamie. Excellent. Who stars in that, Jamie? Who's acting in that? Or is it a documentary? It's a semi-biopical piece. Let me know what that's about and who's in it, Jamie. Well, I know what it's about, but let me know who stars in that. No, not Douche, Caroline. Deuce. Yeah. I think Douche would be a completely different kind of film. But yeah, that's it. Fanny's written it there. Deuce. D-E-U-C-E. It's a HBO. Oh, it's a HBO. So it must be modern, but it's about drug dealing in the 70s. HBO are crushing it, aren't they? Some of the stuff. Mara Wilson's autobiography is pretty ace, says Thingy. I've been reading Power of Now and loving it, says Tony Rossi. Great book, Tony. It's a big read, Power of Now, though. Really big read. Yeah, I'd say, yeah, it's a great book, though, Power of Now. I've got it on the shelf here somewhere. Where is it? Oof. Power of Now. But yeah, I ended up, I'll be honest with you, Tony, I ended up listening to Eckhart read it in audio form because it was too heavy for me to kind of process, if I'm honest. Try to understand it. Throw that up there, sort that out later. Try to understand it whilst reading it and keeping up with it. I was like, nah, I need someone to read me this. So I got it on audiobook, but it's very, very good. It is wordy, Caroline, very wordy. Jamie says incredible for Juice by HBO. Cheers, Jamie. We'll check that out. Tim Paley's here. Hope you're well, Tim. Good to see you, mate. Tim's always cracking on with something exciting. Let us know if you need anything, Tim. Post in the Facebook group. Everybody post in the Facebook group if you need anything. Facebook.com/groups/Act on This TV. Like the Facebook page. Facebook.com/Act on This TV. That's separate to the group. And like I say, please, please, please do me the favour and subscribe to my new weekly vlog. Both on Facebook at facebook.com/WatchRoss and also on YouTube. At the moment, there's no URL for it because I don't have 100 subscribers. If you help me hit 100 subscribers, I'll be eternally grateful, and then I can actually get a proper YouTube name. And the only way you're going to find the videos on there at the moment is by searching for the hashtag WatchRoss. So type the actual hashtag itself, WatchRoss, into the search, and you'll find the videos on there. Please subscribe, and I will be drawing one person at random. Anyone who subscribes between now and the 31st of December 2017, I'm going to pull someone at random. If you've subscribed and commented, you have to leave a comment on the video, otherwise I won't have a clue. Subscribe and comment on the videos as they come out. I will pull one person at random, and I will either pay for your spotlight if you're in the UK and you're an actor. If you're in the UK and you're not an actor, I'll pay for something of equivalent value. Or Tony, if you're in the States and say you get drawn, for instance, I will pay for something in the States which is the equivalent value of spotlight in the UK. So we'll do a draw, and we'll sort somebody out with something nice if you get drawn out. So it's hugely appreciate your support on that. Comments have been amazing so far. If you've got any feedback, please let me know. And finally, yes, I am definitely doing a live video broadcast with my friend Nav, who runs a YouTube channel called Absolute Motivation. He's got about 700,000 subscribers, millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of views. He's like the king of, well, in my circle of friends, the king of YouTube and growing a channel. And I will be interviewing him on a live broadcast. People will be able to ask their questions. I'm not sure when that's going to be or what audience it's going to be for. It might be a premium thing. I do an ads on this. But if you want to grow a YouTube channel, this is the guy. He has a lot of insider kind of ninja tactics from behind the scenes. He's certainly the guy I'm going to be personally speaking to about growing the channel that my vlog is on. Definitely. What's the equivalent in dollars? I'm subscribing anyway. The equivalent in dollars, Tony, would be like $200. Something like that. It's £150 around abouts to get a spotlight subscription if you're an actor in the UK. I'll be paying for that for an actor in the UK. Or if you win it, my man, I'll give you the equivalent in dollars. You know what? I'll just probably give you the cash in dollars, and you can spend it whatever you like. As long as it's not alcohol or women, because I don't know if that's going to really boost your career. Maybe it will. It's done a lot. It's done a lot for some other actors, so maybe that is the way to go, Tony. Maybe that is the way. Awesome. I'm just going to sort this out on Facebook so I can end this broadcast elegantly. I always do this, don't I? Never bloody remember to set this up. It's because Facebook don't let you end stuff easily on their platform when you're doing live. Awesome, can finish this in a second. Let's have a look. What's going on here? What's happening here? Where's my end? Oh no, I'm saving it. Useless, guys. I'm probably missing all these comments down here. I'm doing this wrong. How do I don't know how I end it. I'm sure I normally just click on that. And then it comes up going, do you want to end the broadcast? Very interesting. Very interesting. I can't end it. It's all going wrong. You've got me for a few more minutes because I don't know how to end this on Facebook now. It's just not having it at all. Discard changes. Wait a minute. I'm going back to the actual page for the video, seeing if it works that way. Yeah, they've changed something up here. There's a button that's normally here. There's missing, guys. Now I've gone full screen on it. Maybe we should do a tutorial on how to go live on Facebook. Or I need to take a tutorial. No, that's not having it. I definitely go into here, publishing tools. Then I go into Facebook Live videos, video library. Then I click on this. And then what it should say is end broadcast. But actually what it does is it just gives me an option to save the broadcast as it is. So I think what I'll do is I'll have to just end it via my streaming software and hope for the best. Awesome. Just switch everything off, says Fanny. I think that's the way forward on this, honestly. Normally you can end it all very nicely. But that's exactly what we're doing tonight. Thank you for watching. Appreciate you all. Get over onto Facebook, watch the vlog, facebook.com/watchross. In fact, you know what? I'm going to end on a trailer of this week's vlog. This came out this morning. You'll see behind the scenes of everything I'm doing in my life right now. I've already started filming episode 3 that's going to be out next Monday. Brand new episode every Monday. Facebook.com/watchross. Search for #watchross on YouTube. Subscribe. That's the way you're going to be able to win the Spotlight subscription or the equivalent value in whatever country you're in or whatever you want. And that's going to be, search for #watchross on YouTube and subscribe and comment on that. Thank you very much. Massively appreciate you all. Don't know how this is going to end, but bye for now. Welcome to episode 2. Oh, shit. Remember I talked about potentially getting Steve Wynn, the richest guy in the world, with my eye condition, retinitis pigmentosa, on the Horizon documentary. Sean here only casually comes out with whilst in Costa, oh yeah, I'm sure I know someone who knows Steve Wynn. As if that ever happens in the world. Turns out, I mean, I didn't believe him. Turns out he only does. We're building, you're building. You know, you got to feel the fear and do it anyway, haven't you? I like to do dips in the lift. Just work out the triceps. Gemma Atkins is going to be there now, training for Strictly Come Dancing. We're not allowed within 50 metres of that, really, Lee.
They've been so good to us, haven't they?
Gemma, you've made the vlog. You've made it. Forget Strictly. Watch Ross.